Welcome. And you know what I did in my taking charge of my now? I let myself start 1 minute late because in the 7 o'clock now, I wasn't quite ready. So in honoring that, I let myself start at 7:01. So here's a little start, a little tip to where we're headed today. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And you might be here live, or as many of you have been doing with these last 5 or 6 YouTube shows that I've created, you've been watching it at your leisure when it works for you. And really this is just coming from my desire to share my excitement, what I'm realizing, what I'm seeing in my work with myself and my work with others. And yes, all perhaps falling under the scope of what we could call yoga therapy. And remember, yoga just means union or to join, so not necessarily anything to do with exercises, although there is a system of exercises that is part of yoga, yes. And then therapy, anything we can do, and I like things that we can do to ourselves to help ourselves feel better, get through our stuff, experience less stuff that doesn't feel good, and generally just enjoy our ride more, create more of what we do want, and connect with the health, the mindset, and the reality to go with that just feels best. So welcome. Namaste. We could all put our hands together in that prayer position for a moment, right at the heart center. Just add a little half smile to that soft, relaxed face. Settle in with me. Shimmy, shake. Do what you need to do to start to work with that energy that you feel right now. And so we're going to share some now. So welcome. And now as the ticket. I was having fun playing with the right words, just kind of letting it come, for describing what I want to share about what I'm understanding about now and what we can do in our now, with our now, how we can perceive our now, how we can enjoy our now, how we can make the best of our now and help influence future nows. But I love that word ticket because I even looked it up. I love to look up words in the dictionary when I start to think about, especially if I think about using it, a word in my creations. So I like that ticket has this feeling of almost like an exchange, something that you tangibly are aware of that's heading you toward where you want to go, opening something, letting yourself in, admittance, all these different ways you might perceive that word ticket. So I like it. So yeah, now as your ticket, my ticket, our ticket, the ticket. So yeah, we're just going to get into that. And this is always kind of a free-form thing happening for me, where I'm knowing that I want to talk to you about this, and I'm just also allowing what comes to come as far as content. So it always winds up being a lot about perspective and weaving in actual feelings of practice and also just talk about practice. So my aim is to help you more and more develop your own perspective and your own practices that work for you, that really tune you in to who you are, who you want to be. Tune you in to right now more. Tune you into the magic of right now. Tune you into things like spirit, if you like, and the energy of it all, and helping you own that you know that you are the one who's going to be doing that tuning, and to just kind of facilitate your process, to help you even understand that you are having this chance to tune in throughout your moments in different ways, and how that's going to affect how you feel and how you function and even what comes. And then I like this tune up, and we'll start to talk about why part of our now is this opportunity to tune up how we feel. And we'll talk about why that's a good idea in some of these teachings and some of these perspectives that I'm liking and owning. So you're always invited to have a cup of something near you for this talk, this power talk that I'm offering you. So I'm going to take a sip of my hot water. And again, this is one simple idea of a practice that brings us into now more, and even shifts our now, is my cup of hot water here. Gives me a chance to slow down, get more still, to tune my attention to the cup and the fluid, and to tune into how I'm ready for that in the body, get ready for that. And then to tune into the sensation of the warmth going down the throat in the ways that's bringing me more into my body, into sensation. So isn't that so cool? A cup of tea, a cup of hot water, a cup of coffee, a cup of anything can become part of your now practices. Being here now more, feeling good now more. And the glory of that. So this is something that we probably, most of us feel like we've already heard enough about this maybe. And it's like, yeah, present moment, now. I get it. I don't want to miss my moments, right? So I think that's where my understanding of some of this started, because it's so obvious when you come to things like yoga and meditation that it's so much about getting us into right now and helping us bring our attention and our awareness into right now, within ourselves, around ourselves, and just how much being able to do that changes things. So for me, and maybe for a lot of us now, we're starting to see the benefits, even as it's interestingly challenging for a human mind. That's, I think, what starts to puzzle people. It's like, wow, even just trying, maybe it's because we're trying, but maybe, it's just interesting that when we might first consider, oh, can I be here now? And kind of let that last and really be in this moment, not just caught up in what I'm thinking about, but can I totally be here now? Or if I'm in a conversation with someone, whether it's someone I barely know or someone I am married to, can I be here now in this conversation, like really clearly, openly perceiving it? So that may be our first piece that some of us have already started to see, like, whoa, that, interestingly, is a challenge, even though it sounds so simple and basic. So that's one piece of how these practices start to lead us into just noticing. There's a lot of noticing we do with yoga and meditation as part of the mindset, as part of the less judgment, no judgment approach. So just noticing what it's like for us, or what it's been like for us, as we've noticed we wanted to be here now more. We were in a moment that we really wanted to make sure we catch. Maybe something we were really looking forward to, and we want to like be there for it, or maybe something special, or yeah, or maybe just being with our children. We want to be able to just like get into the moment with our kids when they ask us to. Kids are really good about asking us to come into the moment because they're generally more in the moment, and so they have their ways of getting us to join them. So we can see how that is to try that, to sit or play and be in the moment, and like how easy is that for us already. But then the good news with these practices is that we can start to see and maybe just accept that yes, that may feel hard for many of us. And we could thank some of the things that might bring us out of the moment, even like that busy creative mind, even when it's doing things we don't want. Thank you for that mind either way, right? But yeah, that we could look at, okay, here's my current ability to get into the moment. And even just, again, for the matter of experiencing life as our motivation and not missing moments by having our attention somewhere else. Which, not that that's all bad, because we're going to get into next more of why it matters where our attention is and how we're doing in this moment, and why now is the ticket, okay? But yeah, this is just kind of the forerunning, is that just for the idea of experiencing life more and being able to be in our moments when we want to, like how's that going? And then the beauty here is that there are ways we can get better at that, just for the reason of wanting to be able to be in our moments more. So before we even get any more energetic or spiritual on you, just for the value of being here for this life, in these moments, in this unique day, in this unique now. Yeah, we'll get into more of why we'd want to do that in case we need encouragement. But I think, yeah, probably especially if you're here listening to this, you're already someone who wants to experience and enjoy life. So you could see the value of just getting better at being able to do that, right? To bring yourself into the moment, to be able to be in your moments, much less enjoy them. We'll get to that next. Yeah, so this is the good news to start, is that we can get better at that, get more practice with that, and start to see that that is a practice. And maybe some would say, well, one of the practices is just to practice coming into now. What a concept. And again, this isn't something that probably we need to like talk to our kids about, because they, a younger being is probably more likely to be in that mindset of just here and now. But then at some age we start think. That mind gets so busy. So, and again, not that that's bad. We'll get to how even what's happening in the mind is affecting now, and that we can like roll with that, enjoy that, and this can be a powerful, great asset for us. So mind is our power tool as well. But part of it is, yes, being able to bring the mind and the attention into now. So yeah, first reason, basic stuff. And then some of what we get into next, I think what I want to bring up next is the big piece that we get from a lot of these practices and perspectives, this big revelation that we are all energy. And so everything about us is energy. And You know, I'm not like a total scientist or anything, but we could just break it down if you need to the fact that, yes, even the scientists are seeing this, that when you break down things like an atom and a molecule, and you get down to what's holding it all together, it is energy. There's this like energy underneath it all. And even like the scientists are talking about like this invisible space where they know this energy is. And so everybody's pretty agreeing, even though we're not totally teaching it to our, again, there's the kids again, we're not necessarily teaching this yet, but we've understood for a while, and people like the yogis have understood for a long time that we are all energy. And so everything's energy, and even vibration. And so you would hear, yeah, that we are energetic beings because we are made of energy. And everything around us is energy. So even the things that seem solid are all made of energy. And then, yeah, we know some things about energy, right? That it's something that's like tends to be in motion and does better when it can flow easily. And next, we bring in this other understanding that, gosh, most systems and doctrines of spirituality are talking about, even like Jesus was talking about this, but definitely, you know, some of the Eastern teachers as well, that there is this like some universal laws going on that relate to the energy. And one of the terms for that may be this like law of attraction title that we've all heard. So that this principle is going on in our universe. And it's super interesting because so many societies and people, especially in some of the upper ranks, quote unquote, like royalty, secret societies like the Freemasons. I'm thankful to my learning with people like Kevin Trudeau to help me tune into this. But this is what, you know, a lot of people have known for a long time, and even what that movie The Secret was about. This is like The Secret. Although some would say The Secret, I think The Secret turned a lot of people off because they thought it was just about money and being selfish or something that, I don't know. Or I don't know. For some reason, you hear how many people say it didn't work for them, although it's a wonderful movie or book, and if you get a chance to look at it again, you should, because it has it all. But yes, this idea that it's all energy and we're all vibration, and there's this like law of attraction thing happening, and that our focus and attention and our energy is affecting it all, and that even things like our thoughts are energy, and that we are transmitting out this energy from us. So we are a vibrating being. This is where we'll get a little groovy, but again, this is the kind of thing like a lot of systems have understood. And more of us now, you'll hear people talk about vibes and energy, feeling energy. You know, more people are talking about it than ever. But if you're ready to accept this truth, it just feels right to me, it makes sense to me, and this really boils down to the biggest pieces of why now is so important. But this idea that we're all energy, and that what we're vibrating out is definitely correlated with what's attracting back to us, and that like attracts like, and that if you see it as like frequencies, that we tend to be on different frequencies with our vibration, and we tend to sync up with events and people who are on similar frequencies. And so, yeah, as we really start to understand that we're all energy and vibration, and what that really means and how that plays into what's happening moment to moment, and with how things are even like getting orchestrated in life. And this plays a lot with things like synchronicity and serendipity, and the knowing that what we focus on becomes stronger, and boils down to some of the simple concepts like that what we think about is what we tend to bring in. And so, yeah, some of the big news with we are energy, we are vibration. We're always vibrating. And so in a sense, and of course I have to totally thank Abraham Hicks, is one of my biggest teachers on all this, really, really helping me understand this. So, we are energy, we are vibration. And right now, we are emanating energy, vibration in this moment. And so we, in this moment, become a point of attraction. And where you could even say we're creating like a vibrational climate. These are total Abraham Hicks words. So in this moment, right now, I'm emanating energy, vibration. And this is affecting things around me and drawing in things and maybe even repelling things that are not of like, drawing in rendezvous, people, thoughts that are of that energy vibration. And then what I've also really learned that's so important and helpful here, and so this gets into why now is the ticket. Because the energy that we are radiating right now is what you can start to understand is affecting it all. So right now, the energy that I'm putting out, the energy I'm in, the energy I'm feeling, that's what we're going to get to next, is what's beaming out and is what's even creating it all. So now is the ticket. What's happening in me, with me now, that's where it's a big ticket. And so the next piece where we can start to take some ownership of this current vibration, this point of attraction, and start to understand how do we know where we're at in our vibration? How do we know what we're emanating? How do we start to work with that? So the helpful piece here is this understanding that the guidance we have, the way we can always tell what our energy is right now, what our vibration is right now, what our frequency is right now. You ready for this? It's how we feel. The birds are singing outside to that one. And, you know, a couple shows ago I got into more about mood and mind. And we might even do a whole hour on like feelings as guidance. But if we start to understand that how we feel right now tells us about what our energy is right now. So if we're not feeling great, if we're feeling cranky or frustrated or irritated or scared or worried, those are some energies. And you notice how you feel along with those energies. And those energies are, in this theory, if you want to buy into it, which I do, so how we're feeling right now is the energy that we're in right now. So that's what we're vibing out. And that's what we're getting back. So right now, you are a point of attraction. And right now, I am a point of attraction. And how I'm feeling right now is my way of telling myself how I'm vibing right now. So this is like new to me to really understand this. Probably just in this like last year. And then again, the great news is that there are lots of ways to tune up how we're feeling. And so here's one of the big reasons to do that is because it's going to change your vibration and your energy right now to tune up how you're feeling. And so that's going to change what you're beaming out. And it's going to change what you're bringing in. It's going to change what you're experiencing. It's going to change a lot. It's going to change everything. So it's a way of owning, playing with this idea that we're all made of energy, understanding that our feelings are a big tool for us as humans. They're as guidance. And so next we'll get into the spiritual piece here with the guidance and the feelings, because I think I'd better mention that. But one more sip. I see some viewers. Woohoo! Thanks for being here with me. Okay, so how we're feeling is how we're vibing right now. And so law of attraction wise, that's what we're bringing in. But also feelings as guidance. More about feelings as guidance. Feelings guidance as far as how we're feeling and what we're vibing. So that's part of the guidance we're getting from those feelings, is just telling us about what energy we're in right now, and so what we're putting out, and so what we're getting back. And it's so fascinating how this plays into like specifics, you know, like even with the same person, like a partner. If you're vibing out cranky, you're likely to rendezvous with cranky husband or cranky partner. If you're vibing out happy, you're likely to rendezvous with happy husband. Can you believe that? It's working that much. So, okay, so more about feelings as guidance and kind of the spirituality parts here. You know, yoga and a lot of these teachings are really guiding us into this understanding that we are all made of energy, and you could even call that energy God or source or spirit, Holy Spirit. There's been lots of words for it over the ages. The Tao. So this like life force that we are made of and that we are extensions of. And so along with that is this idea that there's a part of us that was maybe even there before we came into these bodies, if you want to play with that. An eternal part, an infinite part that's always there and guiding us. And even emanating its own vibration. And so we could start to understand that when we have feelings, it's a way that we see how in sync or out of sync we are with that divine part of us. And so when we have not so great feelings, it's generally an indicator that we're currently out of alignment with that higher, wiser, divine part of us. And so it's even just like a, instead of resonance, like a dissonance with the energies. And so those feelings are telling you, now we see two things. They're telling you how you're vibing, and they're also telling you how in or out of sync you are with that higher, wiser, divine you, that God you. And the fun part here is lots of teachers tell us, and I like this, that higher, wiser, divine you or me is more at a higher vibration frequency, which consists of more feelings of like love and appreciation and non-judgment, like unconditional love. Oh boy, I've been working with that one. So, and yeah, a lot of it is how we're being with ourselves. Oh boy, that's big stuff. We're getting into that too. So, yes, this plays out into what we're saying to ourselves and out in the world, what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're imagining. And how in line is that with that divine part of you? And so those feelings are always going to tell you how in alignment you are. So that's where this goes into being along with alignment. That the more aligned you are, and yes, this plays into structurally as well, which I've talked about on other shows, goes along with the feeling good and the tuning in. But how alignment are you even with your thinking and your imagining and your perceiving plays into how you're feeling. And so there, feelings, two big things. Guidance as to how aligned we are, and guidance as to what we're vibing now. And so now as the ticket, because as you take a look at how you're feeling right now, now you're realizing how much information you're getting and how important it is to tune that up and to let that feel even better. And you, again, probably have a ton of ways you already know that you like to feel better, and I'm here to hook you up with more, like some of the things like just relaxing. Even just relaxing physically can change it so much. Just softening, just easing, just smiling. Remember, smiling sends serotonin to the brain right away. That's that feel-good chemical that some people, you know, take as a prescription from their doctors to get happier. What if you could just do that for yourself by more smiling, more conscious relaxing and softening and easing? And then even some of the playful things we can do, like quieting mind. Super curative, huge, big stuff. So you start to see some of the power in how, as we literally help ourselves feel better and get more in alignment. So yes, it does involve the thinking and the imagining and getting ourselves more in line with that divine part of us and how that part of us is thinking and imagining. Because thinking and imagining are great things, right? We do amazing things with that. But we just want to tune it up to be thinking and imagining things that we do want and things that feel good. And again, remember, now we know when it feels good, that tells you it's because it's in alignment with that higher, wiser, divine you. And when it feels good, you know what your energy's like. You're now sending out rad beams of good stuff and bringing back more of that, like awesome rendezvous, cheerful husband, more opportunities. Yeah, so that's some of the piece of we're all energy. We're all divine. We're always getting guidance. And that guidance, our feelings are telling us about our current point of attraction, where we're currently at, what we're currently sending out, what we're currently vibing. This is some of why it's so important to shift it and not put it off. Like Abraham Hicks says, like all of our power is now, right? Like right now. So when we do the simplest things or complex things, however you want to make it, to feel better now in some of the wonderful ways we might, it's changing so much. You're getting yourself more in line with that divine you. You're changing your energy. And remember what we first started with, you're just getting better at being in your moments, even if you don't want to even deal with that spirit stuff. I know you want to be in your moments, and I know you want to feel good, right? But here's some more motivation, energetic reasons to feel good, vibrational reasons, and spiritual reasons. Isn't that so cool? It's like, I feel like for me it's been really good to get the encouragement to make it all about feeling better, because I think up until now maybe some of us have just felt like, oh, I'm just lucky if I feel good, but I'm not going to ask for any more of this. Like, oh my gosh, who am I to ask to feel even better? And then if you're feeling great, to think of feeling better like, oh, how luxurious. But now when you see what's happening vibrationally, what's happening spiritually, it's like hell, yes. Heaven, yes. Go towards feeling better, even better. So even if you're feeling amazing, could you even feel better? And here's now some of the reasoning in case you needed it. And I needed it. I totally needed it. I did. I needed the permission slip to make it all about feeling better, but also all about now. So now as the ticket into, and I think then let's also talk about what happens just physically, chemically within our bodies. And how that relates to right now and what we can do differently to create a different experience for our bodies right now. So we can just keep that simple, and now we know as we make some loving efforts, it's kind of a funny word to use, toward feeling better now, that changes things so much for the body. So different for the organs, so different for those glands, and so different for circulation, for immunity. It's a really big one. And so part of this, invites you to just believe that you have a power over all of this. And another piece I love about now is that we can always totally just work with where we're starting from now. I love that. I totally got that from Alan Watts. I think he would say, like, start now because that's where you are. It's like, it seems like such a almost like simple, basic, goofy concept, but it's also some hope that wherever we're at right now, however we're feeling, whatever's happening, and so each time we even check in with what's happening with us right now, that non-judgment helps us see, and the solution-based work of this stuff is that no matter what's happening now, like there's always some ways I can feel better. And so it's certainly important that we don't get caught up in judging what's happening now and what we are doing with our now. And instead, we are observing and reading that as guidance, simply an indicator of where we're at, usually with our focus and attention and our imaginings. I think we'll get into that next. More about now. Now is the ticket. It's also super awesome to think about what we can do with our minds now. Beyond just quiet the mind and get into now and experience our moments, it's also fun to play in the mind. And I love that I have beautifully synced up with teachers who also remind me that mind is awesome and totally one of our power tools. And I mean, we've been hearing for a long time that maybe we're only using small percentages of our brain, but even how we are using our brain is fascinating to really take a look at. And so one of the pieces I'm thinking about is imagination. Like, how often is imagination going on in our nows? And we're not going to judge that that's bad to be in your imagination instead of in your moment, because I don't like that. I like imagination. But how are we using that imagination? And, I love some of my favorite teachers right now, like Neville Goddard and, gosh, lots of people I've already mentioned, really get us to look at, and I did a whole hour on imagination because I'm so fascinated with how much is our imagination creating what is coming next. Okay, so can you start to see that part of now is like, what are you doing in your imagination now? And that as a ticket. A ticket to more of what we don't want. So, gosh, and I tell you, I feel like I'm learning this and I see it intellectually and I'm getting better and better at it. I'm going to say it as well as I can. Um, yeah. How are we using that imagination? Let's start taking more of a look at, yes, we use that rad imagination. You probably are a very imaginative person. And usually we only compliment someone like that when they create something beautiful from their imagination. But unfortunately, we might be creating some not so beautiful things from our imagination. And we might think that we're being realistic or that we're being responsible by using our imagination like that, by imagining the worst that could come just so we're ready for it, by imagining something that happened in the past that didn't feel good. Maybe imagining memories that feel good. And there again, that's alignment thing with the emotions and the guidance and the spirit part of us. Why does it not feel good when we're imagining something from 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago that didn't go so great, maybe with someone we love, or something that was embarrassing or humiliating or we feel bad about? So we might think we're being responsible by reviewing that memory to like keep ourselves at our best. But really, what's happening when we're doing that? With our energy, okay? What's the energy that we're emitting when we're taking ourselves through that tragic memory? And then, so what's that emanating out? What's that bringing back more of? Do we want more of that? What's that creating for our future when we're spending time imagining things like that? And then why does it not feel good? If we want to let this be a spiritual thing, maybe because that spiritual part of us doesn't feel that way about that memory, doesn't feel that way about us, is in a different energy of more like love and appreciation and non-judgment. And so when it feels bad, it's like, oh yeah, that means it's because that's out of alignment with how Sourcey you, divine you would see this. So, but that's where the remedy sometimes is just to quiet that mind, to clear that mind, to use the imagination with some tools like the yogis have done for ages, like placing an image there on purpose. Something calming like a clear sky or a smooth, serene lake, or maybe an image of something that makes you super happy, as someone you love, or remembering a great memory. And again, let's get down to how's that feeling on the bod when we're using the imagination those various ways. And imagination in our health, I'm really interested in this because I see myself with this too, and I think it's something we really could like clean up right now in our culture, because I have the feeling that a lot of us, if we're thinking about our health, we're imagining the worst. And again, maybe we think we're being responsible by doing that, but I'm not so sure we are. I think that as we take a look at how we're using our imagination for things like our health and what we're expecting and what we're picturing, anticipating, even in a way planning. So anyways, there's a little dip into now, and just that piece of imagination. So how we're using our imagination now as a ticket. How we're vibing now as a ticket. Ticket toward feeling better now and feeling better later. Toward having more now moments that rock and having more future moments that are just what you want. Having health that is super resilient and strong and actually getting better every day. So all this in the power of now. So this is, yeah, some of what I'm seeing. That's hilarious. I always come into these and I'm like, yeah, maybe I have an hour's worth about this. And then 45 minutes in, I'm like, oh, yeah, I did. So I just so appreciate that you would like to hear what I'm up to and what I'm excited about. And let's just talk a little bit more about how this factors into practice and perspective and enjoying our now, realizing our now, being in our now, feeling out our now. So that's where I love seeing that each time, gosh, really my biggest job in life, actually, it translates to this. My biggest focus in life, because of all these teachings and where I'm at with it, is really moment to moment to be doing my best. I'm trying not to use that judgment, but really just getting more and more into feeling out how I'm doing right now and bringing myself into now more. And part of that involves bringing my awareness, maybe enjoying sounds around me as a way to get into the now around me. Can be a really wonderful, good feeling thing to do, again, that I think we all would like to do more of. So just getting better at using my senses to do that would be a yogi thing to do. Taking in sights and lights and shapes more as part of my experience in right now. Taking in sounds more and other sensations like air on the skin, chair that we're sitting on. And these are all like some classic tools of most meditation practices and such that helping us get into now. And then, so yeah, just throughout the day though, remembering to check out, how am I doing right now? How am I feeling right now? And now I know why I want to keep an eye on how I'm feeling. And I'm going to take a look with that loving, sourcey, spiritual non-judgment, because wherever I'm at, however I'm feeling, is simply an indicator, right? Simply guidance. Simply a jumping off point, too. And so I can always work with that. I can always shift that. That's pretty powerful, to just start to believe that we can shift it. And yeah, like softly, easily. And if we've got a big momentum going, it may take a little time and focus and maybe like extra luxurious self-care. Like if we're like really feeling bad now, it makes sense to me that that would be the reason to like do the most loving, wonderful, juicy things for ourselves now. Because remember, those feelings are guidance, and that whatever you can do to get yourself feeling better means you're going to help yourself get more in alignment. And it's going to really, 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 really change your energy and what you're vibing, what you're transmitting, what you're beaming out, and what you're bringing back in. So it is going to change your rendezvous and your experiences and your thoughts. Even as we just help ourselves feel better, just naturally the thinking gets better. It's really nice because, again, it's just all energy. So it doesn't have to be about so much psychoanalysis. As far as I'm concerned, it can be more about just feeling better now and understanding it all is just energy, all is just guidance as to our alignment and what we have been doing. And then just owning that we are like freaking superheroes, that we totally have the power to shift it And then as we realize this, we can actually make it our biggest goal in life to just feel better now. I totally got that from Kevin Trudeau. I have to give him props on that. Yeah, all about feeling better now. That's the name of my newest book-like project that's almost done. I'm still finessing it. But yeah, now as the ticket to understanding what we're doing, how we're doing, why things have been going like they've been going, and then the ultimate place to change it all. It's all about right now. And then I should probably mention too that some would say if we're interested in spirit or God and cool stuff like that, that we can most magically tap into that when we're more here and now too. And that energy is not in the past or the future, but it's here and now. And the more that we can like find ways to get into that, and that's where some of it is just about being able to quiet and even clear that mind, quiet those thoughts. Although I think the thoughts too can be part of the connection, of course, that those good thoughts flowing in, almost like channeling from that sourcey energy. So yeah, now is it. Now we're doing it. We're sending it out. We're choosing it. We're shifting it. We're allowing it. And it's really cool that just, here's like the final twist. Woo! I love when this happens. The coolest thing you'll notice is that coming into right now and doing some of those things, maybe like quieting, calming, stilling, although those aren't the only ways to come into now. We can be totally in the now playing a game of hockey, right? And that's why some people love those things so much, because it's a great way to totally be in the now and be vibing rad when we're doing something we love. Oh my God, what are we vibing then? Yay! How are we vibing when we're painting, or when we're like singing, or when we're having a great conversation? Yay! Here's the good news of now. And how aligned are we when we're doing those things and feeling those ways? But yeah, the coolness, the final plot twist is that you'll notice, and you probably noticed this if you've already practiced some of this stuff that goes after just getting us more into the moment, is that it always feels better to come into the moment too. Like to do some of that, to bring ourselves back into the moment feels better in itself. Much less the feeling better we can do once we come into this moment. I like that. We got lots of directions on that one. So it's really great news. And that is you just let yourself own that now is your ticket to enjoying now and to enjoying what's coming. Now is your ticket to really good health, especially a more relaxed, easy, smiling, open, listening, feeling now, connected, aligned now, vibing now. It's where all our power is. Sounds corny, but it's true. And I'm starting to see now why. And so I'm just stoked to share it with you who are ready. This is a total example. You're here. You've vibed up. You've synced up with this because you're ready for this. Like you're on a similar vibration. And so that's an honor for me to sync up with you. It really is. And I have been noticing great things happening in my life great feelings happening inside me, just like better and better with happiness and joy, great health. And I really feel like it's a lot about my getting more into this now stuff and understanding how now is my ticket, and that my biggest job in life really is to keep coming back to right now, checking out what's up on the inside, enjoying what's on the outside, and owning my focus. These are big tools with things like yoga and meditation. Focus, 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 focus. So that's part of using that focus. Being focused enough to let it be about how I'm feeling now, and to get better and better at that, and being in my moments more like that. Again, with the noticing, with the observing, with the non-judgment, and with the ever expanding allowing of just feeling better now, and exploring all the many ways I might do that, and even my unique personal ways, and understanding why that's highest priority. Our vibe is affecting it all, everyone we love, everything we do, everything inside of us. So important. And right now is where it's at. It does, some of these teachers would say it doesn't matter what we were vibing 2 weeks ago or yesterday. Right now, we are that point emanating out, vibing. So imagine, though, how the world could shift as more of us get more tuned into this way of being. It's so cool. More alignment, more high vibe, more here and now. So there's your ticket for today. I've easily filled up an hour. And I'm so, so thankful that you've come to play with me. So until next time, hands in that prayer position, right at my heart center. Sending lots of love and thank yous. Namaste and adios.